Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It is a Monday. Can you believe it? Monday, the 13th day of May, and it is National Crouton Day. Might be one of my favorite parts of the salad.
Really?
I like croutons. They're
I
good.
know you like croutons.
You get
Anytime
mad at me.
I make salad, you eat all the croutons off
You're like,
of the
would you
top.
quit taking all my croutons? It's also a National Frog Jumping Day, National Apple Pie Day, National Fruit Cocktail Day, and National Women's Checkup Day. So if it's been a while, ladies, good day to get a checkup. Also, it's a Movie Star Monday. I'm going to visit with actor Robert Hays. You might remember him as Stryker from Airplane.
I loved that movie.
I did too, and he is such a kind man. I actually had a chance to meet up with him at 80s in the Desert in Las Vegas, and I had a chance to do this interview. So when you hear the interview, you might hear some noise in the background. There was a whole event going on. So
yeah.
Super excited to visit with him later in the program. Robert Hays from Airplane on this Movie Star Monday.
If you have a drug problem, don't let it ruin your life. You can be in treatment as soon as tomorrow, and you can start to get clean in as little as 7 days. Take the first step to get drugs out of your life at timeforrehab.com. Your insurance may cover everything, so you really have nothing to lose. Timeforrehab.com. Start your new life. You deserve it. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such. A Bloomberg survey found that people over the age of 65 are no longer retiring as often as they used to. I know somebody that's over the age of 65. He just turned 70 last week.
70 and won't retire.
Yeah, we'll be talking to him tomorrow, Tuesdays with Charlie,
Yep.
Heidi's dad. He doesn't want to retire. We keep trying to convince him to.
Yeah,
But
won't do it.
one of these days, we're going to talk him into it. I've got a link to that story if you know someone who needs to read it. Wink, wink. I've got a link to it in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com.
The average household has thousands of dollars in credit card debt. If you find yourself in that position and you're making minimum payments, you could be in debt for a long time. Make sure you have the very best card with the very best rates at bettercreditcards.net. We work with different banks and different credit card companies who put out their best offers to earn your business. See if we can help you get a better credit card at bettercreditcards.net, bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
And this is Your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by timeforrehab.com. Don't tell this Key West couple romance is dead. A homeless man and his, I'm doing air quotes here, girlfriend, I'm not sure, were found extremely intoxicated on the sidewalk doing something that they should not have been doing. We'll just put it that way.
Oh, that's so romantic.
Yeah, it was 9 p.m. on a Monday. A woman walked up to a dispatch window at a police station and said, there's some people out here, doing something. The officer responded, caught 46-year-old Gary Hill with his pants down, and he was still laying on the sidewalk by a concrete barrier near a pond. He and the woman that was with him were both so intoxicated they had to be taken to the hospital. She did. She had to be taken to the hospital. That's how drunk she was. Hill was jailed on misdemeanor charge of indecent exposure, and he remained in the jail on Tuesday without bond. So that's not good. You don't do that. I'd say go home for that, but he's homeless, so I don't know where you do that.
Well, yeah, really, if you think about it.
He was home, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a bad idea, but it's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Fox TV says Jussie Smollett will not appear in the new season of Empire. I think this story actually came out last week, but I got that. It was shared to me like 3 different times. I said,
Are you shocked by that?
No, I'm really not.
No.
And Joy Behar, this does kind of shock me. She's from The View. She said that she's writing a book, and she said, or she's writing, I don't know if it's a book. Maybe it's a movie. I don't know. But she says it's an S&M type thing. Like, what in the world?
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
That doesn't really surprise me. Nothing with that lady.
We're going to just move on because I don't want to have to explain to kids what that even stands for. So let's just move on. Marie Osmond is taking over for Sarah Gilbert on The Talk. So that's kind of cool. They wanted a new face on The Talk, and they said her face is brand new. So
she's adorable.
I think she is.
I think she is so cute.
I have to say, I stole that joke off Facebook because when I read that, somebody commented that on there. I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, oh, that's clever. And Barbara Corcoran just celebrated her 70th birthday. She's from TV's Shark Tank. She hosted her own funeral, and she arrived in a coffin. What?
Oh.
I've talked to her on this program 2
That's
different times.
bizarre.
I had no idea that she was going to do stuff like that. She seems like a neat lady, and I'm like, what? Wait a minute, what? Doesn't make any sense. Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com.
If you can't have a drink without it leading to another drink and another drink, maybe it's time to get help. There are programs designed to help take alcohol out of your life for good at timeforrehab.com. Don't let a drinking problem spill over into other areas of your life. Get help to quit drinking and start living the life you truly deserve at timeforrehab.com. Your insurance may cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now your scoop of the day, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.net. ESPN, the magazine, is going to stop publishing its print edition in September. I didn't even know there was an ESPN magazine. Did you know that?
I didn't know there was.
I've
but
heard-
we're not sports people.
No,
I'm sure
so-
if we were, we would know that it was there.
So I don't know how many people subscribe. Apparently not enough. Otherwise, they wouldn't be getting rid of that version. So MTV Music Awards are being moved to Newark, New Jersey this year. So they're not going to hold them wherever they used to hold them. They're going to be in Newark, New Jersey instead. So, again, maybe I should know where they used to be, but I don't. Bryan Adams and Billy Idol are going to join forces for a summer tour. I'm excited for that. I've actually seen both of them. Bryan Adams, we saw him at an acoustic concert. That was really cool. And then Billy Idol, we saw him in Las Vegas earlier this year. So they're teaming up for a summer tour.
That'll be a great tour.
Yeah, I'm going to have to see.
I actually really love the acoustic sets. I think
that
they're
was neat.
so much fun because
It
you get
was.
to hear them tell stories about
Yeah.
each song and stuff.
They kind
Those
of
are
talk a
lot
little
of
bit
fun.
about, this is a little info on that song you've heard all these years. A doctor in China had a patient that had some severe ear pain.
Okay.
And was trying to figure out what is going on. That doesn't sound normal. And then they finally found out there was a spider inside of his ear building a nest. Can you even imagine that?
Yeah.
Just saying that makes both of my ears itch. I hope can you look? Do I have a spider in there?
Yeah.
A guy in Durham, North Carolina has reached a significant milestone with his car. Dexter Mills has a 2000 Honda Accord, and it's been driven 1 million miles.
Oh, wow.
He's a self-employed vehicle inspector. He travels all over the state at various shops and dealerships. He estimates that he logs about 65,000 miles a year these
Holy
days.
cow.
And his car is getting a lot of attention. The Accord became his primary work vehicle in 2006 after his wife bought a new car. So I believe she got it new in 2000, and then he got it used from her in 2006. That seems very familiar,
Being a
doesn't
vehicle
it?
inspector, he probably has what it takes to keep that thing in tip-top shape.
Yeah. I just want to point out, I never get a new car. Anytime we get a new car, I get Heidi's old car. She's like, hey, here you go. You can drive this one now.
Because you trash every vehicle you get. That's why.
Yeah, you give them to me slightly used. A study.
You either bust out the windshield within the first 5 minutes,
Well,
or
I
you
didn't mean to do
rip
that.
holes in the ceiling liner with poles.
I've done. I use my vehicles like a work truck.
Exactly.
Even when I
you just
shouldn't.
need a truck.
A study from the University of Warwick found that shy and introverted people are the hardest people to help when it comes to smoking. Researchers think it's because shy smokers feel they need a cigarette to help them get comfortable in social encounters.
I could see that.
I wonder if that's same for drinking. Do you think?
Probably.
A German man caused about $3,000 worth of damage when he tried to use a vacuum cleaner to siphon gas out of his car. He mistakenly filled his tank with unleaded instead of diesel.
Oh my gosh.
Then he thought, I can fix that. He stuck a vacuum hose in the tank to get the gasoline while the fumes exploded inside the vacuum.
No.
So don't do that. That's a bad idea. Siphon it out apparently a different way, but not that way. A Florida school resource officer accidentally set off his gun in the cafeteria last week. Can you imagine that? He leaned against a wall. No students were hurt, but when he leaned against the wall, his Sig Sauer 9mm, you have one of those, don't you?
I do.
So when he leaned against the wall, somehow it caught on something, and the bullet, the round, I should say, if I say bullet, our son will correct me later.
Yep.
It's not a
It
bullet,
is
it's a round.
incorrect.
It hit the floor and ricocheted into a brick wall behind the officer. Again,
Oh, my
nobody was hurt.
I bet that scared him.
I'll bet it did. The authorities have not put his name out as far as who he is. I'm sure there are people who know who it was. But anyway, he was wearing a body cam, but it was not turned on. The investigation is now relying on surveillance video to see exactly what happened. But crazy story. Thank goodness nobody was hurt. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Before you know it, Christmas will be here. Are you ready? If you plan to use a credit card while shopping, make sure you have the very best credit card for you. It's free to click around and see what we can do for you at bettercreditcards.net. We have options from many different banks and different credit card companies who put out their best offers to earn your business. See if we can help you get a better credit card at bettercreditcards.net. Bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Movie Star Monday. Our guest today, Robert Hays. He was Stryker on the movie Airplane, and we caught up with him in person at 80s in the Desert in Las Vegas. Mr. Hays, do you make it to these events often?
Oh, just a few. I haven't done all that many of them, but we're going to start doing more of these, I think, through this year, probably do a few, but especially next year because it's the 40th anniversary of Airplane.
Yeah. And you had a chance to be Stryker. And now, of all the fun things, you've done so many projects, but is that kind of the one that the most people recognize you from because it was just such an iconic role?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And absolutely. What was it like to work with the cast on that? There's some just amazing people you had a chance to work with, Leslie Nielsen and so many others. What was it like to work on that cast?
Bob Stack, Lloyd Bridges, Peter Graves, they were wonderful. And Julie Haggerty, just incredible. And I still keep in touch with Julie and her husband, Richard. And saw Lorna Patterson, played Randy. Yeah. Saw her and her husband just a few weeks ago. And they're great. See Al White every once in a while.
What is it like when you get on an airplane to travel somewhere? Is that usually where, when you get on an airplane, do people have to just, if you're next to them, they have to think that's the coolest thing ever?
Well, the pilots, the stewardesses, they usually get quite a kick out of it. And people on the plane, are kind of a little leery of, am I going to be landing the plane or what, But we still get that. We still get that stuff.
The thing that was amazing to me when we were here last night, we're again recording this at 80s in the Desert. There's like a pilot or some sort of airline event going on. I was like, I wonder if that was on purpose. Are you a part of that too?
No, I saw that. Air medical convention and all kinds of weird things that have to do with aerospace.
I wonder if they know you're over here.
I was wondering if they were going to be nervous that I would come over and taint their gathering.
Now, outside of being a Stryker, you've had a chance to do a lot of other roles. What are some of the other things that most people maybe remember you from, or when people talk to you, are there some that kind of surprise you that you go, oh, wow, you saw that?
Well, there are some. People also like Homeward Bound, which was a very family Disney film that I did. There are a lot of people that loved the one season that we were able to do of Starman. That was very special. And they loved that one. They loved Angie, the show that I did with Donna Pescow. Films that I did with Peter Weller, 50/50. I was in Australia promoting Airplane 2 down there, which they call Flying High down there.
Oh, that's what they called the movie there?
Yeah, Airplane Flying High. They had to change it. It was a long, convoluted story with Universal about that. But these two girls came running up to me, and I thought, oh, well, they saw Airplane, and they want to say hello. And they said, were you in The Girl with the Gold Watch and everything? I said, yes. So that was a movie I did with Pam Dauber, a TV movie. And it was a lot of fun, where I had a watch I could stop time. It was a lot of fun.
I'm going to have to go back and watch that. I don't think I've seen that.
Big surprise. Yeah, that was a big surprise that they would have chosen that one to pick out.
So now, of all the people that you've had a chance to work with, are there some that stand out in your mind as just, boy, they were just such a great person and completely different than their on-screen persona?
Well, Leslie was different than what his on-screen persona had been.
Yeah, because until Airplane, he hadn't really done comedies.
He played bad guys. He played some light romantic comedy, but it was mostly kind of the leading man, strong leading man or bad guys.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he became this goofball.
and he did it so well.
He did it incredibly well. And so that was great. Julie Haggerty and Donna Pescow they're just amazing. They were both so amazing to work with. And Lorna and Peter Weller was great. People played my son, C.B. Barnes, Chris Barnes. Gosh, it's just going on and on and on. There's a lot of people. I've had so much fun. I've been really blessed. So,
well, it's been fantastic to visit with you. Thank you for being a part of this event. And if people want to find you, are you online somewhere where they can catch up with you as well? Are you on any Instagrams or Facebooks or any of that stuff?
Well, my son's trying to get me to do all that stuff, and I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll figure. I think I've got an Instagram account, but I don't know exactly how it works.
Well, if you have one, we'll find it and we'll put a link to it. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Again, Robert Hays, we had a chance to catch up with him at 80s in the Desert. Got a couple other Movie Star Mondays that we're going to be sharing over the next few weeks from that same event. I've got a link to all of his information in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com.
If you have a drug problem, don't let it ruin your life. You can be in treatment as soon as tomorrow, and you can start to get clean in as little as 7 days. Take the first step to get drugs out of your life at timeforrehab.com. Your insurance may cover everything, so you really have nothing to lose. Timeforrehab.com. Start your new life. You deserve it. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Fear of young people is known as ephobibophobia. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Probably not. EPHEBIPHOBIA. It sounds like a silly condition, but according to sociologists and psychologists, it's widespread. One professor studying the subject points to a quote from Plato. So this has apparently been going on a while. He said, "What is happening to our younger people? They disrespect their elders. They disobey their parents. They ignore the law. They riot in the streets, inflamed with wild notions. Their morals are decaying. What is to become of them?" So that's way back in the times of Plato. Mm-hmm. Doesn't sound like he's afraid of kids. It just sounds like he doesn't appreciate
He doesn't like them.
Yeah, there you go. It's today's fun fact on the John and Heidi Show.
The average household has thousands of dollars in credit card debt. If you find yourself in that position and you're making minimum payments, you could be in debt for a long time. Make sure you have the very best card with the very best rates at bettercreditcards.net. We work with different banks and different credit card companies who put out their best offers to earn your business. See if we can help you get a better credit card at bettercreditcards.net, bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Now, fear this. Time for fun with phobias. Herpetophobia. Herpetophobia. What do you think that would be? Herpetophobia.
I have no idea.
It is HERPETO phobia. It's the fear of reptiles or creepy crawly things.
Oh, okay.
Herpetophobia. Do you have that?
I don't
have
have that. No.
Big fan, but not afraid of them.
I don't like spiders, but
Yeah.
I mean snakes. I don't really have an issue with because they eat spiders.
There you go. See?
I'm fine with them. We're buddies.
That is today's fun with phobias.
If you can't have a drink without it leading to another drink and another drink, maybe it's time to get help. There are programs designed to help take alcohol out of your life for good at timeforrehab.com. Don't let a drinking problem spill over into other areas of your life. Get help to quit drinking and start living the life you truly deserve at timeforrehab.com. Your insurance may cover everything. Learn more at timeforrehab.com. That's timeforrehab.com.
Now, some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. According to an arrest report, a man who stuffed a large Angus beef rib roast down his pants, $62, by the way, is how much the thing would cost. He was doing this in Florida, believe it or not. I know that's a shocker. The meat heist was spoiled, or foiled, however you'd say that. It says spoiled on here, but wouldn't it be foiled? The meat was probably spoiled, but the heist was foiled, I think. Anyway, an alert employee caught the man. 40-year-old Eric Worden jammed a 7-pound rib roast into his trousers and then tried to exit a supermarket in a Tampa suburb. The rib roast, this thing was thwarted by a manager who approached him and said, hey, what's going on here? He challenged him about the roast concealed in his pants. And the guy said, all right, you got me. He declared, he declared you got me. Then he removed the roast before fleeing, took off. What would you do? Would you try to run with the roast in your pants or run without it? I'm not sure. Neither one is a good idea. He's on, he got caught, by the way. He got arrested, and now he's on a $500 bond. He said he was not guilty, by the way. So I'm not exactly sure how he's going to say, that rib roast found its way into my pants.
Yeah, how do you claim not guilty on a crime like that?
I don't know. A for effort.
Somebody came up behind you and shoved a roast down your pants.
That's
and you can say, I didn't even know it was there.
I had no idea that was stolen. Wow. I thought that was his rib roast.
That'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
Thanks for listening to today's Weird News. Now your moment of duh, brought to you by FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. 2 people accused of going to a Florida jail and pretending to be detectives to break out one of their friends. They showed up and said, we're the new detectives. 2 different people, 22-year-old Francine Olson and 24-year-old Brandon Rays. They went to the sheriff's office, buzzed the intercom, and said, hey, we're the new detectives. We start today. And they knew that there weren't people starting today. So like, come on in. Let's chat.
Oh, my gosh.
They were trying to spring their 40-year-old pal, George Shanza, out of jail. Well, instead, they got to sit in there with him.
Oh, my gosh. You know what kind of guts that takes.
Both were charged with third-degree felony, false personation of a law enforcement officer.
Oh, that is absolutely hilarious.
They did not manage to get their friend out, but they were able to sit with him behind bars. So
oh, my gosh.
That is not a bright plan.
I wonder which one of them came up with that scheme and how that exactly went down. And I got an idea.
Why would they do it together? Why wouldn't they say, okay, I'm going to let you go up and see how this goes? If it works for you.
Oh, my gosh.
And if it doesn't work for you, then I'm going to pretend to be the new janitor.
Fantastic.
And then, it's a bad idea.
I wish I could have been a fly on the wall when that plan was being hashed out.
It's probably some sort of mind-altering substance used, but it is definitely today's moment of duh.
Before you know it, Christmas will be here. Are you ready? If you plan to use a credit card while shopping, make sure you have the very best credit card for you. It's free to click around and see what we can do for you at bettercreditcards.net. We have options from many different banks and different credit card companies who put out their best offers to earn your business. See if we can help you get a better credit card at bettercreditcards.net. Bettercreditcards.net. That's bettercreditcards.net.
Now, these 3 things. Heidi, tell me, what do these 3 things have in common? Rack, screws, Iron Maiden. The rack, screws, and Iron Maiden. I put
have no idea.
They're all torture devices. So the rack, when they put you on there and they stretch you in different
directions. I knew that was. I knew the Iron Maiden was. I didn't know screws
were.
It's
a thing where I think it's the one where they push on your head with the screws. I don't know. I have not used any of these.
I knew about the first one and the last one.
Yeah, there you go. They're all instruments of torture. That's these 3 things.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. This is actually a pretty cute story, and I don't encourage others to do this, and I'll tell you why. But our good news comes your way courtesy of ripitgloves.com. Promo code radio. Again, Ripit, R-I-P-I-T, gloves.com. Promo code radio. Take a listen to the story. It says a child calls 911 and then asks the officer to be his friend because he's lonely. So it turned into an adorable story, but I don't encourage other kids to do this.
No.
Do not call 911. It's a bad idea. But this little boy in Florida dialed 911. He was lonely. And he called the police. And it says here, Tallahassee police posted on their Facebook all about the encounter. Joe White is the officer, and his new friend dialed 911 when his mom wasn't paying attention. She didn't know he was doing this. When Officer White arrived on the scene, the young man asked him to be his friend because he was lonely. He took some time to explain to the youngster how 911 is supposed to be used for emergencies only. But he didn't get in trouble. You know, he said, I'm glad that you called, and I need a friend too, so now they're friends. Oh. So he gave him a stuffed animal, and he got to sit in the patrol car for a little while to spend some time with his new friend. Due to requests from social media users to send the boy greeting cards, the department said, we're not giving out his address, but you can send them to us, and we'll send them to him. So the address for that, the Tallahassee Police Department, is in the story. I'm not going to share it here because you're probably not sitting there waiting to write it anyway. But they did share the address. And Heidi, the 2 of us need to send a letter to this young man. How's that sound?
Oh, okay.
I'll let you do all the writing because I think it's a good idea. But the Tallahassee Police Department, if you want to send it to them, send it care of the public information officer, and then they'll get the card or letter to him.
Alrighty.
So it's a young boy that didn't have any friends, so now I bet he's going to get a whole bunch of people sending cards. I've got a link to that.
Maybe some lunatics that probably shouldn't be writing him
well,
letters.
That's why it's going to the police first. They'll make sure it's okay. If you'd like to send one, I've got a link to the story with the address and all the details in the show notes at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say bye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Bye, everybody. Have a great Monday. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.